Come join Kyle, John and David as they go through what's on the playlist. Find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest. In and out points, no celebs and the gossip. Back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue. Quick checks, who'll be laughing? You abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television, entertainment news with somebody else with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is...
John Berger. The third one is...
Kyle Bridger. I would like to say that I'm the Sully Sullenberger to John's Colin to Dave's... Gotta do it to you, Dave. You're Jeff, our resident sexual harassment person.
Was he the pilot that was kicked off of all the social media?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Social media? You mean the dating apps?
The dating app. But I think he was also kicked off of some social media as well.
You did say that. So.
Yeah. Oh boy. I thought you were gonna give me Captain Nathan Fielder.
Oh yeah, I could.
After his historic miracle over the Mojave. Wow. What a flight. What a season of the rehearsal. We're going to break it all down. We have another season 2 that also aired on HBO, I think.
It's still Max.
It's Max,
right now.
but these are HBO shows because they're on the HBO linear. They're not Max productions on Max.
All right. I watched them on Max.
Okay. I watched them on Max as well, but I think they have the static HBO opening. Yes, whatever. We're talking about some HBO Max shows today. I think like almost close to everything we're going to be talking about. Even spoiler with the quick checks might be Max as well, but oh well. All right, a lot to talk about, a lot to jump into tonight. Let's do it. Send us back.
We're back, baby.
Gotta get back in time.
All right, we are going to start off with The Last of Us. Season 2 had a finale on May 25th. Convergence was the name of it. We're going to give overall season thoughts. Of course, we're going to spoil Season 2. We might even jump into some game spoilers as well, I think because John just completed the game over the weekend as well. I got a lot to unpack with this one. I mean, we talked about the Season 2 premiere, and we kind of okay, that was episode 458. We were talking about the premiere, and we kind of were hinting, okay, a big event is coming. We knew it's coming. I don't think any of us expected it to be episode 2. And then really kind of changed the entire second season. So we'll break it all down. A lot to talk about since then. Let's start off just overall season thoughts. John, what did you think of season 2?
I thought it was okay. Having played the game like literally almost simultaneously. I played the game for a couple hours and I'd like watch an episode and just kind of keep myself, trailing what was in the game. It really highlights, and I think I might have said this for season 1, how much more detail is in the game than in the show. Obviously they're fitting what took me 40 or 50 hours to play through down into 6-7 hours of TV. So yeah, there's obviously going to be a lot of stuff that they leave out and have to change, but besides that, I thought it was okay. Always happy to see some video game adaptations being made into competent films and movies. So it was all right.
Yeah. I'll have to it's tough for me because I'm coming out from this without having played the game. Only have seen season 1. I had a lot of high hopes, I feel like, with season 2. I think I'm pretty down on season 2, maybe just because of expectations. Like I said, that event in episode 2, I thought, okay, is that going to be the story of the season? Are we building to something? And no, that didn't happen. And instead we got this great big moment at the beginning of the season. Whoa, fireworks. This is crazy. It was really exciting in the moment. I felt everything else after was like, you got this early jolt early into the season, kind of like, spoiler, I guess, Connor's wedding episode in succession. Coincidentally, both of those episodes were actually directed by the same person. But unlike Succession, I feel like it had a lot more story to tell in that final season to kind of wrap things up. This show's only getting started. And I guess there's 2 games, but I'm hearing 4 seasons. So
Potentially, yeah.
Game 2 is 3 seasons, and okay, I don't know, and I felt a bit of a drag after the events of season 2. But before I get there, Kyle, what did you think of the second season?
I thought it was okay. I'm kind of more leaning with John. I think it's pretty faithful to the games, and what he just said was that it's still competent. I mean, I've seen a lot of bad adaptations, so this is still very good. But I do think there is some pacing issues because maybe they didn't think the first one was going to be as successful as it was, because they zoomed through what could have prolonged, I guess, the story a little bit more if they were going to go 4 seasons. Or maybe they're privy to information after, kind of like a Game of Thrones situation, because maybe there's an additional game coming. But
Is George R.R. Martin developing that game? Is he?
but
There's been talk, but
yeah, but it's just like a lot of season 2 followed I feel like, and John can remind me, but I feel like a lot of the cutscenes were in. That's what we were kind of following along with, and a lot of that was lacking. I think some of the stuff we liked about the first one, we're getting the pacing of these zombies and this what's happening with the zombies. We're put in these situations with both the zombies and the human element, and in the second season, we're getting a lot of the human element, and we're not getting large doses of the zombies, which is what you would have in the game. You'd go back, you'd flip back and forth between these scenarios, and a lot of this second season is all the cut scenes, a lot of that, and I think it really bogged down the second season.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt. I mean, I'll just grow out and say here again, spoilers, is after the death of Joel in episode 2, I really felt the season dragged. And it's one thing to have like an emotional epilogue, the episode after. I totally get that. You know, you have this big jolt of energy. You got to have the sadness, the despair after. But I feel like we had 3 episodes of just traveling to Seattle, and I feel like that could have been condensed into one. Like that could have been an email. And this season reminded me actually a lot of slow Walking Dead, which is not a good thing, or even worse, World Beyond, which was like the kids' version of the spinoff they did of Walking Dead. It had a great season 1. You know, it's like talks of a cure. They go to the CDC. They're doing all this stuff, and then season 2. They're at the barn, you know, they're on the farm the whole season, and it was very like slow and just dragged out. And I just think, you know, the show was built, at least in the beginning, even in this poster for season 2, as this two-hander, and you got rid of 50% of the cast that we knew. It's like one thing to kill a major person when it's like an ensemble like Succession, but like you hadn't really built up the rest of the cast in this new settlement, I feel like, properly in that one episode, you know, before you kill off Joel. And I get it happens in the game, but like, it's one thing to, you know, you can do a faithful adaptation of a game, but you're also at the same time making a TV show for people who haven't played the game. You have to entertain them as well. So it's like a tricky balance. I understand that, but I just feel like the chemistry between Joel and Ellie was so strong. And I just didn't feel it yet with Ellie and Dina, because I just met Dina. I just met her. And to be with them for 3-4 episodes in a row and just them, it just was enough. And then if you have like season 1. Season 1 was a two-hander, but you met interesting folks along the way. You had Melanie Linsky's Kathleen character. You had that Henry Sam father-son storyline, which was great. You had the cannibals. You had the amazing standalone episode of Bill and Frank, and we didn't have any of that here. We had 3 episodes of the 2 of them on horseback going to Seattle. I needed some more. I needed more, and it's just, that was the thing where it's like, okay, you adapted the game, you did this, but it's like, I just feel like the pacing, especially after season 1 being so strong, and you kind of felt it, I feel like, a lot. Like the one episode that like broke the norm of this season was the flashback episode. And after 3 episodes without Pedro Pascal, I think it really kind of reinforces how much the show misses Joel with that episode. And I mean, it also didn't help that you had some like heavy hitters in that episode with Tony Dalton and Joe Pantoliano, and like you had a great cast in there. It's like, all right, like, so this whole season I was like, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. Like I was just like, it was too much of a roller coaster for me. And there was points where I was just okay, all right. Like when are we getting to the fun stuff again? Like I want the Abby show, and I think we'll talk about that. I think we're gonna get the Abby show.
I mean, that's what I was gonna piggyback off of. It's like, well, you wanted Joel and Ellie. I mean, soon you might not have either of them, and this show's gonna shift mightily. So, and where it turns to Abby, and now I understand the casting choice of, we need someone that can act and really and take hold of this show. They needed somebody to transition that to. So I understand the casting choice a little bit more now that I understand the pacing that they're going for. But going back to the Dina Ellie situation, you could cure some of that with a little bit more, maybe a zombie attack, maybe add a piece here or there. Really, I think the only element we get is when they are eventually saved by Jesse right at the end. But I think they could have added something else in there. We have the scars are there, the WLF. There can be, it doesn't even have to be the zombies. Give us some other action to go along with it so that we are bridging this gap of 2 to 3 episodes of walking around.
Yeah. Because you'll do a cold open with Jeffrey Wright. And then it's like, all right, that's 3-4 minutes of that. And then it's like, all right, 55 minutes of Ellie and Dina on horseback. It's like, okay, like again, like it just felt the pacing was off. And like, yeah, like I understand, like, yeah, I might not get Ellie anymore. That's fine. Like, cause it's almost like on Walking Dead after a while, I was sick of the Rick group. And it's like, all right, give me Negan, give me the Negan show. And I'm sure we're going to get stuff with Abby. It's just, I just felt like season 1 just was very, like a really well done Walking Dead, where it had these great guest stars mixed in with our people, different storylines. You know, like I said, the father's son, the cannibals, the standalone episode, all this stuff. And this season, you know, outside the premiere and the finale, it's like that middle section is just like this image that we're showing on the screen. Like it was just, I just needed more. I needed them to build it up because, like, yes, like, you know, we're going to have different characters in future seasons, but like this person I met, you know, season 2, episode 1, and then already they're our main person for the rest of the season. And it's just, I needed more build up. I needed more of a connection. I needed the feel for these people after, you know, I don't know, being introduced to Joel and Ellie in season 1. I didn't have that in season 2 with Dina and the rest of the supporting cast. But
I think one of the things that the show suffers from as well, again, because of the time crunch, is in the game, the days felt very delineated as day 1, day 2, day 3, and they did mention that in the show, but that really helped set the pace and the arc of the days, and kind of gave it a little bit of a flow of, you know, some build up to a action point where there was, you know, some kind of like daily like finale almost, I would say, and then that waning back to where they go into safety, and that really kind of helped build, in my mind, a little bit more of their characters and how they interacted. Whereas in the show, everything was so fast paced. I didn't feel like we had that proper interaction, like you're saying, where there's no third party that is interacting with them, that or objective or something that's interacting with them. So that definitely was something I noticed, is that the game made it very clear as to kind of what the goal for the day was, and how to, not how to do it, but where the story was going to go. And, you know, yeah, it kind of got off the rails in some parts and didn't go how they planned, but at the end of the day, they're back at base and they're where they are. Whereas in here, it kind of didn't feel that way. On top of that, compared to the game, a lot of the events are kind of almost like smushed together. Like when what's his name, Jesse came to save them, like it was only Ellie, and she was doing something else. Dina had already been like sequestered to the theater by herself. So like that whole thing, it just kind of like pushed a couple like days almost into like interlock with each other. And I think that kind of really kind of like smeared the pacing to the point where, yeah, like you said, it kind of was just a chunk of nothing almost, you know?
And to go with the pacing, like, yeah, like those 3 episodes, like it was drawn out, but then the finale, I feel like, you know, the first bit of it until we really got to Abby. It was just like, again, it felt like random running around and searching. And then, like for instance, Ellie's captured by the wilderness people. And then it was just like, it felt almost like pointless drama for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Like she was about to be hanged and then immediately let go. And then she escapes and she's back in the water to the destination she was going to begin with. And it was just like, that could have been an episode. Like that could have been expanded out. And I think just the whole scope of the season, as you were like, we'll talk about the game in a second, where it's like, all right, I don't know if this is exactly true, but like game 1, season 1, and it seems like game 2 is now going to be seasons 2, 3, and 4. And the thing I think got me a little bit annoyed again with this season, where it's like, cool reveal at the end with Abby that it's like, okay, day 1. So we're going to get that character switch. We're going to get that point of view for season 3. Cool. However, I don't want to wait 2.5 years to see the other side of 3 days. Yeah. Do that in this season. Go back and forth every other episode. Odd numbers are Ellie, even numbers are Abby. Or the first 3, last 3. Do something.
Yeah.
But now I have to wait 2+ years to now see the other side of 3 days. And then maybe that will end. That finale moment will be the end of this finale moment. So then 2 more years to see the results. It's just like, it feels like House of the Dragon. It's like they're building up, to this big battle between the two. Next season.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. Like,
I think they should have done what they're doing, but 2 seasons back to back. Release this.
Yeah, that's
wait
fine.
2 months, 3 months, and say, here it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that way you're not breaking the story
momentum.
flow of the game, which is exactly this, where it is all Ellie, and then all of a sudden you get a swap. You're not breaking that, and so the people who are familiar with the game aren't kind of like, what the hell is this? But you're also not waiting 2 years, between everything.
Yeah. Because, I'm excited for an Abby-centric season. I mean, Caitlin Deaver. Love Caitlin Deaver. And it's like, sign me up. But it's just like, I wish we got some of that now instead of like, 2 years. Like, will I remember? And it's like this build up. And then, like, I'll watch those 6 episodes of those 3 days. And then that finale will end with Abby seeing Ellie to shoot her. And then it's like, all right, we'll see you in season 4.
Well, I think, what we're talking about is like the perspective of where it's coming from.
Yeah.
If you could shift the perspective back and forth, then it allows you to do that. But I think they really wanted to focus on Ellie and the emotional, back and forth with her and Dina to really lay that home, so that when you go back to Abby, I guess it gives you more insight and you can go deeper into that character. But I agree. I think it would have been better back and forth, like cut, because then you could see the action from both ways. Eventually you'll get there, but I think they really wanted to focus on a single perspective. But going back to that scene with in the finale with the scars, I was like, I thought it was just so unnecessary. It could have been easily cut. It didn't add anything to the show or the episode because we already know there's danger lurking around every corner. It was just to ramp up the drama.
And we already saw their like ritual already. We saw that exact ritual.
Yeah. So I don't think it added one thing, and it didn't as far as we know, it didn't impact her one bit. No. And there was a further more emotional scene later when she has to go through it. So it just I don't think it added anything to it.
Can I ask it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, I will say for the defense of all of Ellie and then all of Abby as 2 separate seasons, the game very much felt like it was setting up where you're playing as Ellie and Abby is this horrible demon who, is haunting her and is causing all this pain in her life. And then you swap over to Abby's side, and it's very much the opposite. It's very much that Ellie is the reason for all our hardships and all this stuff. And so, like, I don't know if it would really work the same way as a A-B season rather than a and then a B as a set. You know what I mean?
I just think, I think we have to, like, again, if it was like the first 3 episodes of the season, the last 3 episodes, or like whatever, they a 6 episode season, and then like a month later in our 6. But like to now wait at least probably 2 years before we get the Abby side of things.
Oh yeah,
it's just like because this is like the classic Walking Dead thing. It's like we're seeing the show from Rick's side, so it's like when like Negan seems like a bad guy, and it's like, well, I mean, there's many reasons why he's a bad guy, but like if we saw the thing from his perspective, it's like, you killed our guys, Rick. So we're going to kill your guys. Like, it's like, it's like whose perspective? And I totally get that. It's just, yeah, I just think the pacing of just, it was fast and then slow and then fast. And it's just like, I think we could have done a little better. My one question is, maybe you guys would know this better. Maybe it's like, like a dumb question, but so like Abby's father didn't know who Ellie was, or like tell Abby like about Ellie. Cause like, or even if she was the cure, because like, I feel like when, in the beginning, it's like, Abby's like, lets her live. If anything, in the moment, like with Joel, it's like to punish Joel. It's like, you took something from me, Joel, that meant everything to me. I'm going to take something from you that means everything. So I'm going to like kill Ellie in front of Joel and then kill Joel. So it's like, Joel, like, how's that feel? Boom, you're losing everything in front of you. And, like, I'll kill you. But I want you to have that feeling first that you lost everything, what I felt.
Yeah.
But like, I guess like did
I don't think.
I mean, I know it's just a show and we have to move on. But like, does like Abby know, like Ellie is the cure and what her father was working on and stuff like that?
I don't think so, and I think that's kind of reinforced by the fact that Ellie's trying to use that as like a bargaining chip in the finale of like, Joel did it for me, like I'm the one, like.
Yeah.
So I think that's, she doesn't realize that that's the reason why, like she just thinks that Joel went to kill all the people and rescue who knows what. I don't think she ever knew who Ellie was or anything like that.
Yeah, this feels like the James Bond of it all, where it's just like, I have to let you live because, well, you're gonna come back and get me, or like,
Yeah, or I'm just thinking maybe she thought Joel killed everyone because maybe she didn't know what the source of the issue. I don't know.
But
question for you. I know we're probably wrapping up on this, but the scars or the Seraphs, I don't know what their actual
Seraphites?
Yeah, the Seraphites. Now, this is something that works in a game, and it makes sense for the game that they're whistling and then you have to sneak in between the whistling. But if in a video or in a TV show, movie, it doesn't work. It doesn't.
Yeah,
why would they be, I almost swore. Why would they be whistling and letting everyone know their position? It doesn't make any sense. For a game, it's like, cool, I'm going to sneak between these whistles. I know where they are over here. But in a practicality sense, it makes no sense.
I think it's purely driven by them not using tech, and that's the only long range communication they can use that isn't just like shouting like, I see him, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
But yes, it is kind of
It is silly. It is silly.
But yeah, that's all I have for Last of Us Season 2. I think I was just my expectations were higher and different, and kind of was just let down. Like when you start the season where it's like, all right, Caitlin Dever's joined the cast. Oh, Catherine O'Hara, and like seeing all the guest stars and like this world that they're building, and like the first 2 episodes are strong episodes, and then it was just like, ooh, that's not what we're getting, and it's just like, oh, okay. And now it's like, all right, I guess. I can't wait to see Caitlin Dever in 2027, maybe.
I know, and also like they ramped up the idea of this fungal or this infection spreading through Jackson, and then you're like, whatever happened to that? I mean, I guess we get that from the other things of like, oh, these people are breathing in the spores, they can grow outside, and so I think there's something to that, but it just felt like just a total side quest kind of thing. It just did not matter to the bigger scope of the story.
I'm with you. But all right, maybe they could have spent some more time writing and rehearsing the Rehearsal Season 2. We're talking about the entire season. Aired from April 20th to also May 25th. Ended with My Controls was the finale episode title. This season, Nathan did his best to help prevent plane crashes by fixing the communication between pilots, and somehow this journey took us through a singing competition, a Sully Sullenberger biography role play, and Nathan getting his pilot's license to actually fly a 747 filled with actors as the passengers. Wow, what a season. Again, it's a whirlwind because like with this show and the episode, you never know where it's going. And at first I was a little worried, because like after season 1, which really had one standalone episode with the trivia goer who lied about his like master's degree, The rest, possibly due to COVID, was like the family role play at that secluded house. So I was really excited to see what a non-COVID season would be. And at first I was like, oh, it's going to be one long storyline the whole season. And it's like, are we going to be able to up the ante each episode? I should trust this man. I doubted for a second. But somehow, we go from a singing competition series with pilot judges that becomes a takedown of Paramount Plus and how they are anti-Semitic for taking down an episode of Nathan For You that features his Summit Ice apparel company. That's one episode. But
Yeah.
all right. Oh man, there's a lot to talk about. I'm sure there's 2 episodes I'm sure we'll go deep into. But what did you guys think of season 2 of The Rehearsal, Kyle?
Man, wild ride. I can't believe HBO is allowing the budget to go towards all this random stuff. The comedy can be so cringe, and then it's like understated, and the characters he finds, even characters that aren't even really characters, they're just like, it's so weird to see like real people on TV, like that are just like existing, and then like even putting them in weird situations, like the second episode with the wings, voice,
Voice of Wings or Wings of Voice or whatever. Yeah.
So it's just a wild concept. I mean, the fact that he got his pilot's license, which is not easy.
No. It took
so
like 2.5 years.
Yeah, so many moments. It's a crazy thing. But once we go in depth with some of the episodes, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and I really also think it was almost like a different side of Nathan this season. I'm starting to rewatch Nathan For You again, and you really feel like this time, maybe after the events of the season 1 finale of The Rehearsal, there was many points in this season where he was just like really caring about like, are you in a safe like place? Like, are you okay with this? Like, normally it's like, he could be billed and he hates this, but as like a prankster, and it's like he's not that.
Well,
like it's like he is, but he isn't. Like, because there's points where like he says like multiple times, like even to like that speech he gives to the young singer at the end of episode 2. I'm like I was waiting for like the joke in his speak, and he's like, no, like keep following your dreams, keep doing what you're doing, like and like. It was actually a heartfelt thing, and then obviously he had like the 6 and the 9 like joke, but the joke was on him.
Yeah,
and I really felt like there was a change in this versus watching season 1 of Nathan For You, and it's like it's blatant like what he's like doing, and I think there's this where it's like a little bit more. So there's points where it's like, yeah, he's finding these people, he's getting them to kind of react and say certain things, but like it's a different Nathan, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would go as far as saying like he cares or like he.
Oh, I'm not going that far,
because I think he does. This is something I was going to mention, is like the comedy a lot of the times is in the fact that I feel like these people are somewhat deranged or deluded,
they'll
and
do anything to be on TV.
Yeah, and I mean,
and that's what made Nathan For You work. Every episode of Nathan For You was set pretty much in Los Angeles because every single person wanted to be on TV. So they'll just agree. Like the guy even mentioned it. Like,
actors.
How many people have said no to this? He's like, none. He's like, that's actors for you. It's like, because they want to be a part of an HBO show,
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, probably the 2 most talked about episodes we should talk about, and I'll get John's thoughts, first on this, but are the finale and Pilot's Code. Pilot's Code replicates the entire life of pilot hero Sully Sullenberger, including oversized sets and puppets and actors on stilts and a breastfeeding segment with a hairless Nathan I'll never unsee. But yeah, we go even further into Nathan's theory that Sully had been listening to Evanescence during the Miracle on the Hudson. Like, even if it's not true, it's like, how did we get here? How did he even connect this to begin with? It feels like, I know John Wilson is obviously inspired and was produced by Nathan, but like, it felt like that show at points too. It's like we start here and we end there. John, what did you think of the season, and specifically this Sully episode?
I enjoyed the season as a whole. I think up until this episode, I was kind of like, all right. I see what they're doing, but nothing was weird enough. That was like the hook of the first season
Yes.
was, oh, we rebuilt this guy's house. Like, that's weird. Like, and then he spent the time rehearsing with the guy. Like, that's a little messed up. There wasn't any of that until this point. And like, this is kind of where it started kicking off and being like, okay, I see where the setup is now. We're starting to get the payoff, and the payoff is that much crazier because of the setup. So yeah, I wasn't gonna drop it, but it was definitely one where I watched like the first 2 or 3, and I was like,
this was the third one, and this is the one also. Like that's where I was like worried. I was like, okay, first episode that was fun. Second episode, okay, like where are we going? This is the full season. This third episode was like, all right, yes, this is Nathan.
The show.
This is Nathan. And like so many fun details. Like I think this was in the same episode. It's like they were shipping air from one location to another so that the dog clone can live the same exact life to see if like, oh, it's nature versus nurture. And like they're even having actors like walk around like for the dog walking to make it sound like it's the early 2000s. And they even had like a Jared from Subway like, ad on for the bus. It's like, okay, like that's Nathan. That's Nathan for you. Like that's the rehearsal. That's what I was looking for. But yeah, Kyle, what are your thoughts on Sully over here?
That episode, I mean, it was great. Both the second and third episode, I think, were probably the best of the season. I like them that much. But yeah, just wild. I mean, you don't think he's going to take it to that limit where he's creating oversized. It is just so absurd. And then the Evanescence, it wasn't that whole thing because he said he really liked it in his autobiography.
Well, I guess he kept seeing like Evanescence mentioned, and it was just, all right, Evanescence, what time would this be? Like, all right. Oh, wait, there was 23 seconds of silence, and then it's like, all right, 23 seconds is the chorus of this song. Like, but
yeah, I mean, the second and third episode, it really took off because like John, after the first episode, I wasn't so sure. And especially I remember texting, I think you, it was like, it actually made me really, really sad because that if what he's saying is true, we're hearing the reenactment of these people's last lives. Like that is insane. Like, but it's funny, but it's sad at the same time because the dude was like making a joke. And he's like, that's because you're a bitch. And then, like, he's like, oh, no. Oh, God, no. And it's like, Jesus, man, that's insane. It's just insane.
Yeah, it really is. And then, if you want to say insane, this finale, like, I heard on Reddit, like, early into the season, of course, the sleuths figured it out, that they found that Nathan got his pilot's license. But little did I know, that wasn't just for, like, a small little aircraft. Mm-hmm. It was for a Boeing 737. Literally it took years for this one episode set up, so much work. And like I'm watching it and it's like the music, the buildup of the takeoff and the landings, it's like it will be okay because you would have heard about it. But you're still on the edge of your seat, not believing that this is real. Yeah. And then, somehow he ties in the singing show as the winner gets to play the Evanescence song into the autism test in this episode with the zoom in on his eyes as he's worried about the results of the brain scan. Like, there's so many things that like was set up and then connected into the finale. Like, and again, how can you tie these things together? How can you connect these dots? But he did it. And like, even after all this, like, yes, this probably, it won't change aviation. There's plenty of other things that the government is tinkering with right now for better or worse. But like, you kind of got proof that this thing kind of worked. Like he mentioned to his co-pilot about, being in a character, and then he instantly got the feedback about his takeoff. And the co-pilot was initially too worried to discuss it with him. And it's like, oh, I mean, like it kind of like there's a nugget. Like it's not going to save the airline industry, but there's just something like, like maybe like he raised concerns about aviation safety to the HBO audience, like a John Oliver would, because it's like, I had no idea that pilots go from simulator to 737 with passengers.
That's crazy.
Which is scary. And
that
it's like,
is crazy.
At the very least, can you at least make your pilots like talk to each other? Like before they get on the plane. Yeah.
Maybe like, do 1 or 2 flights without passengers. Like,
Well, I guess a lot of them, I read that a lot of them don't go to passenger; they go to cargo planes first, and then from cargo planes to passenger planes.
And I'm sure that they are not the pilot. They're the co-pilot
co-pilot,
to
yeah.
start as they learn and all that. But yes, but still,
But still,
it is
it
a
is
little
wild.
like, ooh, okay.
It is wild. But yeah, just I think in and of itself, I think he knew that he wasn't going to make actually any change.
Yeah.
I think he got the guy, the head guy of the the guy that was helping
The
him out
committee
or
there,
whatever.
yeah.
Kind of helped him out with certain scenarios and gave us more awareness of it. But I think if Nathan Fielder really thought he had a shot of changing anybody's mind, he would have taken the meeting with that one congressman more seriously.
Yeah.
But I think he knew. It's just like, nah. So I'm going to make it what it is. The show in and of itself is enough to raise awareness because now people are talking about it, are hearing about it, and it's like, oh, wait, maybe there's some things with how pilots interact and how this kind of functions, how this world operates. Because I can see this being a problem for like Asian airlines where honor and code is very, very strict. And even more so than just here, we had a guy that was like, oh, yeah, I put your like flaps out or whatever just because you... It's like almost like a technical director doing something to help out the director, but the director wasn't even really aware of it. But I don't know. It is interesting. The whole thing.
Yeah, it's just wild because like when you step out and think about it, like the amount of money that like insurance that HBO had to put down probably for this like I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Even just to fly the plane, like
know.
the amount of money for fuel and to lease it and all that.
Yeah, like get out of here, Tom Cruise, and your own Mission Impossible. Like this is a stunt right here. We got an actor flying a plane with Tom Cruise hasn't flown a 737 with actual passengers, and as that co-pilot said, I don't think any actor has done that. You know, Denzel didn't do that in flight. That was a simulator. Like you know, like. Tom Hanks as Sully didn't do it, but yeah, just a crazy season. I definitely would want more. Don't know if we're ever going to get more. You never know with him what his next project will be and when, but I'm sure he has something cooking. But
I just want to mention also the final performance they had it in the airport that they made. Oh my God.
Well, they got to get their money back for the set somehow, right?
I know.
Yeah. That was again wild. Because again, like okay, like you built the house in the first one or bar in this, you know, it's like all right, well, what are you gonna do? Oh, an airport. I'm like, and that's why I was like, I think it was like John. I'm like, that's cool, that's crazy, but like, what's the next episode or the next episode? Like, how can you top? Like, oh, are you gonna build a whole town? Like, you know, it's like okay, well, yeah, flying a 737, that'll do it. But all right, that's the rehearsal. We had a little bit of time for some quick checks, so let's play the jingle. All right, we're going to start off with John. What do you got? Also on Max/HBO.
Yeah, this is season 2 of Conan O'Brien Must Go. Conan's travel show. If you've ever watched his late night shows where he does a remote segment somewhere, this is pretty much that, but he's leading it instead of, you know, a network or whatever. So season 2 episode 1, they go to Spain. They meet I'm blanking on his name, who was
Javier Bardem.
Yes. They meet up with him. They meet up with several fans who have called in to be on his podcast, and it's always a good time with Conan. I mean, I feel like he almost can do no wrong. He made one really terrible joke and then immediately followed it up by like his soul leaving his body and like floating away. Like they actually like green screened him floating away. He's like, oh, you know, like so like he knows what he's doing. We had more of Jordan Schlancy, however you say his name.
I think Conan would be okay with that pronunciation.
Yeah, right. Which was always good to see because he's an absolute nut. I will say the differences between season 1 and season 2 is season 2 feels more produced in a good way, where season 1 kind of felt like, oh, we're going to, you know, Iceland or whatever, and they kind of not wander around, but they go to a couple of things and that's it. Whereas this one, it felt very planned, as they went to a restaurant and a museum and a couple of things with Bardell. You said
Bardem.
Bardem. They did that. They met up with I think 3 or 4 people from Spain who called in. So they had a whole segment where he dressed up as Don Quixote and was up by the windmills and all this stuff. So very much more produced, but more refined because of that, not artificial. So it was nice to see, and I'm excited to see some more episodes.
Yeah, I actually watched, I think there's only 3 in this second season: Spain, New Zealand, Austria, and I actually watched all 3. And yeah, I enjoy this show. I watched the first season as well. And yeah, it's not every bit works, but when they do, they really do. And yeah, sometimes it can be a bit much. The amount of soap operas he appears in, it's all right, we don't need one for every country. But I agree. I really love his banter with Jordan. Sometimes again, it can be a bit too mean, but then it still hits. It goes back and forth. My favorite moment, I think it might be in Austria, John, when you get to it. He's dressed up as Freud doing a little bit of therapy on the couch, and he's just rambling. And what he's talking about, it's just goes on and on. And it's making fun of travel shows of I also watched the Tucci Italy show, and he's making fun of that and how he just eats and says it's delicious. And it's it's just going on, and it's funny. But
good, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing those episodes. So.
Yeah. All right, well. Once you're done with that, you can also stay on the HBO Max Go Now app and check out The Pit. Season 1, it aired from January to April. I just recently finished this. It's from the ER team, but legally, they don't want you to call it an ER revival. The series stars Noah Wiley, who is the attending physician leading the department staff at the Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Hospital. And each episode of the 15-episode season covers 1 hour of the 15-hour shift. So we're kind of watching the day unfold in real time. I really got hooked on it after a while. It's because they do a good job with kind of doing the cliffhanger into the next episode. And there's just so many scenarios and different visit reasons. And there's I'm worried a little bit for future seasons, because I feel they kind of threw everything at the wall and they have nothing left for season 2, because the amount of really this all happened in one day. Really? But okay. But at the end, you really are caring about the staff and their relationships, and which is a tough thing to do, because it's we're not seeing them at their home or change over months. It's we're seeing them in 15 hours. Some of these are, it's their first day, and it's so it's them meeting each other and their interactions and seeing how this operates in these stressful scenarios. But they do a good job for making you really care about these characters. And I will give a little bit of a trigger warning. It's graphic. I mean, this isn't ER on NBC. They're using the streaming. There's whether it's some gruesome stuff, it's some gross stuff. It's some points and it's also there's some sad stuff too. They're not afraid to kill anyone. Kids. There's an arc at the end of the season about a mass shooting at a concert event. And again, we don't leave the hospital, so we don't see the event, but we see the aftermath and how an ER would prep and handle an event like this. I think it did really well. I mean, there's some talk with Emmy season, and season 2, it's been renewed, supposedly coming next year. They want it to keep going and not wait years in between seasons, and supposedly going to take place over holiday weekend. Again, not really sure how we can, kind of top season 1 with everything that went on in it, but I'm in. I like the cast. I like Noah Wiley. So yeah, I'll check out The Pit when it comes around, and hopefully next year. But all right, let's end it with Kyle. What do you got for your quick check?
So I think I'm talking about Sinners today. So we're following 2 Michael B. Jordans back to their hometown after getting away with some loot or some kind of money, and they're trying to start a speakeasy kind of situation. And what I will say is the production design puts you right in that southern feel. So I really felt like I was in that kind of set. I thought Michael B. Jordan was good. I thought the character differentiation was fine. I'm seeing that the people I talked to have seen it and online, that there's a little bit of I couldn't really tell the differentiation in the characters, but there is some there. One's more like I feel like more like honorable and like will hold stuff down. The other one's a little boisterous and is easy to get out of. Will start stuff easily. But you got a whole setup of the movie, and then next thing you know, spoiler alert, it's a vampire movie, and we're in it. So it's pretty cool. There's really some cool moments in it. We get this like scene where there's like a merging of music, and it's really a movie about blues and music and how music transcends time and links cultures and people together. And there's a vampire movie on top of it. I mean, you can talk about some of the themes or the symbolism of like this idea of culture vultures, because we get this white kind of Irish vampire that comes in and he's trying to find his way in, and he's like, I really like that music. What do you got going on in there, kind of thing. And so it kind of is mixing like this culture vulture, how interactions between black and white, what is white, because Haley Steinfeld is like supposed to be a black character in this, so that's how she can be a part of it. It's a very unique vampire movie. I will say it met my expectations, but I wasn't like over the moon about it. I was very, very excited going into it, but I thought it met my expectations. It didn't really blow me away. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's worth checking out.
I want to check it out, and I am worried. At this point, my expectations are too high for it, just because. Yeah, like the big story with this film is the insane box office. Like that first weekend, there was talks with the director Ryan Coogler, like about like his deal, like where it's like after a certain number of years, he gets the rights to it, and it's like, oh, is that the right decision, Warner Brothers? You really gonna make your money back on this original story, R-rated film? Like, is it gonna be, everyone was wrong. The trades, that came out, they were wrong, because this film has just been dominating box office, over 250 million domestic, and insane, like over 300 million worldwide, like total. But like if this came out like April 18th, 2 weeks later, this would have been a great film to pick in the box office draft. Like it's making that much money. And again, it's nice to see, with some of the stuff, the franchises and everything out there that's just always usually dominating, Minecraft and, Lilo and all this like stuff. It's like, it's nice to see an original story
for sure
really do well. And I'm excited to see this whenever unfortunately, I have to wait for it to drop on streaming, but
with HBO Max,
we'll see. It might be HBO Max by then.
Yeah, probably. But it is worth it. It is a very cool movie. There's some very cool set pieces in it that are very cool.
All right. I mentioned the box office draft, and we're going to do a quick little update on that. That was our last podcast, so you can check it out in our archives. Of course, it's an annual tradition. We all choose 3 films each, whichever films make the most the domestic box office at the end of the summer wins. And I'll share the teams, and then I'll reveal the results of the Instagram poll that you guys voted on our Instagram page. So let's start off with John. So John had the first pick in the draft. And for his first pick, he went with Fantastic Four, The First Steps. And then he had picks 6 and 7. 6 was Ballerina, from the world of John Wick. And number 7, The Naked Gun. All right. So let's see here. And we haven't seen any of those come out yet, John. So we have no totals for them yet. All right. Kyle was next. Number 2, he went with Superman. Then number 5, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, that just came out over the weekend. And 8 with How to Train Your Dragon. Right in that middle, right there. All right. I ended the draft with the third pick. I started with Jurassic World Rebirth. And then I got ridiculed for going with number 4, Lilo and Stitch, instead of picking the common slam dunk that was Mission Impossible. But But well, I don't know. We'll see how that works out. And then number 9, Thunderbolts. Just to close it out.
Thunderbolts did
picks.
well.
Yeah, did well. I mean, I wish it did a tiny bit better. I mean, but again, for the 9th pick in the draft and what we talked about on that box office draft, I will take that number over. I think anything after that is going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel. But those were our picks, and of course, we always like to add in some AI, and that's Gemini. We asked the Google chatbot Gemini for their picks, and they went with Superman, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and Lilo and Stitch. Again, they get to choose from everything, because they're coming in late. We got to give them a little something. All right, so those were what you could pick from, and we asked on Instagram, and we have the results. Okay.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Kyle was picked number 1 with 42%, followed by myself with 33%, John 17%, and then Gemini 8%. No love for the AI chatbot. I will say though, Kyle, 2 years in a row, the winner of this poll loses the draft.
I know.
So that's the downside. I remember the first year we did the poll, I was like dead last. I won. I think last year, I might have won the poll. I lost. So if history repeats, who knows here? This might be a curse. But what I find really interesting with this is like Gemini's in last place, yet it has a combo of the 2 people that are leading the draft.
Yeah.
Like it has 2 of your films and 1 of my films. Yeah. So you would have thought it would have got maybe a little bit more votes.
AI's not going to take us over.
That's true. I will say, because I get the comments, or I get I get to see who votes for who kind of thing. And there was a lot of people, even my some people close to me were like, you didn't pick Mission Impossible? How could you? Like, and I have to really remind these people, it's Mission Impossible makes this. Top Gun Maverick makes this.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know.
But again, we'll wait and see. We can't get ahead of ourselves yet. But like, I think having that, and we'll see. Maybe Superman will be a big one. I think, Kyle, for you, I think you still have the most well-rounded team, and I really think, especially what we're seeing with Lilo and Stitch, I think How to Train Your Dragon is going to also be another big one. So I think
I need it to be.
But I think it's also one of those things where it's like, I don't think Thunderbolts, I wanted more. I mean, again, I'm happy with what it is, but it's like, if all yours do pretty good, and I have one that does great and not so good, that could be the difference. So we'll have to wait and see. But so that's our draft. You can listen to the episode of why we picked what we did, some honorable mentions, some other films that are not going to make money but are good ones to check out. That is in our archives, episode 459. But all right, that is it for this week's episode. And we're going to be off again for about a month or so, but what we have coming up is some fun stuff. So this summer marks the 40th anniversary of my favorite film, Back to the Future. And we have something special coming for you in June, so definitely bookmark that, kind of remember in June to celebrate the 40th anniversary, we got something for Back to the Future. And then right after that, we're possibly got like a double in July to squeeze them in before, some August break. In July, we got the Emmy nominations. Plus, we get season 4 of The Bear and the final season of Squid Game. So we might try to squeeze those in at the beginning of July if we can make it work. But you can find those episodes up on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doordancy.com. We are live on Twitch, twitch.tv/doordancy, and on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and on TikTok at doordancy, so you never miss an episode. I got to thank both of you guys for joining me tonight, for watching all these shows, spending your Wednesday night with me, just talking about TV and movies, just like the old days. And John, getting this episode up on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, directing the show. I couldn't do it without you guys. But that's all we got for this week's episode. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Burberry.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Do or Duncy. Goodbye, everybody.